Cryptocurrency exchanges like Coinbase or Binance are how most people buy crypto, but there's a few problems. First of all, some exchanges will charge you almost 50 times more than others in transaction fees. On top of that, some exchanges are really easy to use, whereas others make it seem like you're learning a new coding language just to make a simple purchase. And some sites are extremely secure, whereas others have gotten hacked for hundreds of millions of dollars. So yeah, it's pretty important that you use the right one. And luckily, over the years, I have used over a dozen different exchanges, so I have a lot of experience. And in today's video, we are going to be talking about which ones are the best and the worst, with the best being S tier and the worst being F tier. And also later on in the video, I will have a gift for you that took me a while to make, and I know you're really gonna like it. So if you appreciate my hard work, go ahead, gently tap that like button, and let's get into it. All right, so first one on the list is going to be Coinbase. Now, this is probably the most well-known exchange here in the US, and Coinbase is extremely safe and secure from hacks.
That they may take our lives, but they'll never take our
Bitcoin.
And even if it does get hacked, it's insured. Plus, Coinbase is well known for being user-friendly. And most people here in the US do start off buying their first cryptocurrency on Coinbase. They do have access to almost 100 cryptocurrencies, and it's easy to fund. Now, the cons here for Coinbase is the fees are going to be higher than some of the other ones on this list. But to be honest with you, it's still really good for a beginner. I'm glad that I started off on Coinbase because it just makes everything really easy. So if you're a beginner here in the US, I would recommend Coinbase. And if you're going to use it anyways, you might as well use my link down in the description below, because you can get $10 to $25 in free Bitcoin if you fund the account. So this one is going to go into A tier. Next one on the list is going to be the worldwide version of Binance. Now, Binance is the largest exchange in the world, has tons of different cryptocurrencies, over 500, but unfortunately it's not available in the US. Now, Binance actually used to be one of my favorite exchanges, and then they moved from being in the US to outside of the US, and the whole process I had to go through in order to get my cryptocurrency off of Binance and the ridiculous fees that I had to pay left a very sour taste in my mouth. So just know that if you live in a country that stops supporting Binance, you might end up getting screwed over. So I had a horrible time withdrawing my cryptocurrency from Binance. I tried to contact their customer service, and it was just basically non-existent. It was not a good experience at all.
To me, this situation is a blood-soaked, nightmarish hellscape.
I almost ended up having to leave my cryptocurrency on the exchange, which would have meant that I probably would have lost it forever. But with that being said, the cryptocurrency ecosystem is still developing, and almost none of the cryptocurrency exchanges are known for having good customer service. And I do really like what Binance is doing with their BNB coin specifically. There's a lot of exciting projects, and I think they're leading the way when it comes to gaming cryptocurrencies. So with that being said, I'll go ahead and give Binance worldwide A tier status. Now, Binance US, on the other hand, is super limited compared to the worldwide version. It's also not even available in all of the states. So with Binance.US, there is more than 50 cryptocurrencies available, and it does have relatively competitive trading fees. And that's pretty much the only nice thing I have to say about it. I'm gonna go ahead and give this one C tier status. Next one on the list is going to be FTX. Now, FTX, in my opinion, is without a doubt the best exchange for derivative trading. Now, FTX is split into FTX US and FTX worldwide, but the US version is really good. And they have some of the lowest fees on the market for certain types of trading. And it's also ran by this absolute unit, Giga Chad, worth nearly $30 billion, Sam Bankman-Fried. No, but seriously, this is actually a really good exchange. It's also very regulation friendly, and it seems like they cooperate really well with the US government. So that could be either a good thing or a bad thing depending on your perspective. But with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and put this one into S tier. All right, next one on the list is Kraken. So Kraken is more for advanced traders rather than somebody who wants to do like long-term investing. They do have some of the lowest fees when it comes to advanced trading options, and they do also have a pretty large selection of cryptocurrencies. But it's not easy to fund the account, and this is another one that's not available in all US states. Next one on the list is going to be KuCoin, and this is one of my personal favorites. Now, one of my favorite things about KuCoin is they have 24/7 customer service. Okay, realistically speaking, the customer service isn't, oh my God, amazing, but compared to other cryptocurrency companies, it's really good. And KuCoin is good for trading as well as long-term investing. They have a lot of different options depending on what you want from the exchange. They also have some of the lowest fees around. Now, it is a little bit more advanced than something like Coinbase, of course, but this is one that I have really warmed up to over time, and it wasn't all that hard to learn the interface. They also do not have KYC requirements. KYC stands for Know Your Customer, and that basically means you don't have to go through the whole verification process that you would have to go through on most other exchanges. Now, again, depending on your perspective, that's either a good thing or a bad thing. Many think that that provides extra security. Many also think that it's a totally unnecessary step that's an overreach by the government. Now, another great thing about KuCoin is they accept over 45 different types of currencies. Coinbase only accepts 3, FTX only accepts 10, and Kraken only supports 7. So KuCoin has really gone out of their way to be accommodating to just about everyone. And over time, after using lots of different exchanges, I'd say KuCoin is the one that really stands out. So this one is going to go into S tier. Next one on the list is Huobi. Now, Huobi is not very beginner friendly. It's also got some really sketchy stuff going on. There are accusations that have to do with wash regulations, and if you want to check that out, I'll let you check that out. If you know, you know.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, it's just one that I'm not all that impressed by. I just think there's alternatives that are a lot better, but it's also not a scam by any means. It's still a relatively good exchange. Lots of people use it. There's lots of liquidity, so you can get trades done really fast. So I'll go ahead and put that one into B tier. Bitfinex is going to be next, not to be confused with Bittrex. There's all these different exchanges that have very similar names for some reason. And this is another one that, in my opinion, is not a scam by any means. It just does not stand out to me. It also has a somewhat sketchy past. It's tied to Tether. There's been a lot of hacks. Now, to be fair, a lot of these things are accusations, but with that being said, just doesn't impress me very much. I'm gonna go ahead and put this one into C tier. Next one on the list is the Crypto.com exchange. These guys have been going absolutely ham when it comes to their advertisements. Now, when it comes to the fees, the safety, all the things that matter, they are very competitive with all of the other exchanges. But what really separates them to me is the fact that they're offering all these different services to people. So for instance, they've got alternatives to different, cashback credit cards and debit cards. You can get like 8% cashback rather than 1 or 2%. They're also doing the same thing that Binance did with BNB by creating their own coin that's going to support an entire cryptocurrency ecosystem. So they have lots of super cool projects planned. They're also doing a really good job when it comes to marketing. So yeah, Crypto.com, I'm a big fan of them. I'm going to go ahead and put them into S tier. Next one on the list is going to be Gemini. Now, Gemini, I would say, is Coinbase's biggest competitor because of the fact that they are established here in the US, and they do try to create a platform that's relatively user-friendly, right? So it's extremely beginner-friendly. Now, I will say that Coinbase is still easier to use than Gemini, but some people do prefer Gemini over Coinbase. Another great thing about Gemini is they are insured in case of hacks, just like Coinbase is, but Gemini does have some pretty high fees. Okay, so overall, I personally prefer Coinbase for beginners, but Gemini is another pretty good option. I'll go ahead and put them into A tier. Next one on the list is going to be Poloniex, and this is one that's really well known for their bots. Now, I'm not personally a big fan of trading bots. I am thinking about doing a series where I put $1,000 into like 10 different ways of making money in cryptocurrency, and then just basically updating it every year or maybe every 6 months so you guys can see how much money I'm making from all these different $1,000 investments. And doing Poloniex bots would be one of them. So let me know down in the comments below if you want me to make a video like that, if you'd be interested in it. Next one on the list is going to be Bittrex, and it's not a scam, but it's also not a great exchange in my opinion. I'm gonna go ahead and put this one into C tier. Next one on the list is going to be HitBTC, and this is a perfect example of why you want to check reviews and Reddit before putting your money on an exchange. So you can pause the video and read this if you want, but basically what they do is they make it super easy for you to put your money on the exchange and incredibly difficult for you to get your money off of it. So they make it super difficult for you to withdraw your money, and therefore you just end up giving up and leaving it on the exchange forever. And so they're technically not scamming, like it's not like they're stealing your money or anything like that. They're just making it incredibly difficult for you to get it off to the point where most people give up. So for that reason, this one is going to go into D tier. All right, so Robinhood is the next one on the list, and it's very limited in terms of the cryptocurrency that you can buy. And also when you buy the cryptocurrency, you don't technically own it. Robinhood buys it for you, and they kind of act like a proxy. But this is a relatively easy way to buy cryptocurrency to get exposure to it if you don't want to have to deal with seed phrases and private keys and things like that. But overall, I'm going to go ahead and give Robinhood a C tier rating. The next one on the list is going to be Webull. Now, Webull is very similar to Robinhood in that you have a very limited selection of cryptocurrency that you can invest in, and you don't technically own it when you buy it. But in my opinion, Webull is just much better. And And they also offer some ridiculously good promotions, which again, you can find in the description down below. I have used Webull for a long time now. I've used it for many different challenge videos that I've done on this channel, for instance, and I absolutely love it. It's the perfect combination of being beginner friendly, but at the same time, if you want to, having more options and more control. So when it comes to cryptocurrency, Webull is going to go into A tier. Next one on the list is going to be Mt. Gox, and people who've been around the cryptocurrency community probably recognize this one. It was once one of the most trusted exchanges in the world. It then got hacked for billions and had to file for bankruptcy. Mt. Gox goes into F tier. Next one on the list is going to be Hotbit. It's another one that had a decent reputation at one point and then it got hacked. And anyone who asked about the hacks or the glitches were immediately deleted from the Telegram group. So that's a really bad sign. Hotbit is going into D tier. Next one on the list is going to be PayPal, and you might have heard that they now offer cryptocurrency. So they allow users to buy Bitcoin, for instance, but it has to be stored on the PayPal website. You can't transfer it out. So you don't technically own the Bitcoin. And it also has relatively high transaction fees. So I just don't see a need for this one when you can just buy it using Webull. And so I'm going to go ahead and put PayPal into C tier. All right, next one on the list is going to be OKEx. So one big time red flag you want to look for with different cryptocurrency exchanges, and I know this isn't always true, but it's definitely a sign, is if they are based in certain countries. So for instance, if they are based in Seychelles, that is a big time red flag. One thing I noticed over and over again doing research for this video and looking into different cryptocurrency exchanges is a lot of the scammy ones were based in Seychelles. And that's because Seychelles has basically no crypto regulations, so they can scam you and get clean away with it. So this is why it's very important for you to look and see where the company is based if you're thinking about putting your money on an exchange. This one is going to go into F tier. Next one on the list is going to be BTCEX. This is another one where if you look up some review sites or subreddits, you're going to see right away that this is probably not the best exchange for you to put your money on. Now, interestingly enough, this one is kind of like a honeypot for honeypots. So they're basically stealing from people who are trying to steal from other people, but I think they're also stealing from normal people as well. But the fact that they're stealing from people who try to steal from other people, I don't know, I just kind of like that a little bit. So I'm gonna go ahead and be nice to them and put them in D tier instead of F tier. Next one on the list is going to be CoinFlex. Okay, so this is an example of one that is blatantly doing wash trading. So if you look at this Reddit comment, for instance, their 24-hour trading volume was $5.3 billion. And Coinbase's 24-hour trading volume is 18.3 million. So obviously this tiny little exchange is not gonna have a trading volume that's like 300 times larger than Coinbase. So this is considered to be really sketchy, and some exchanges do this, but they're a little bit more subtle about it. And then some of them are just blatantly wash trading. Now, Coinbase got fined millions of dollars for doing this. So there's a lot of different exchanges out there that do it. But back when Coinbase was fined, it was maybe a little bit more of a gray area about whether they could do it or not. And now it's very clear that you're not supposed to wash trade. So not only is it highly illegal in many different countries, but it's also pretty sketchy. So I'm gonna go ahead and put CoinFlex into D tier. Next one on the list is going to be YoBit. So YoBit allegedly scams their users in many different ways. So one thing they do is they enable trading, but apparently you can't deposit. So what that basically means is you can't sell. Apparently they also create coins that are very similar to real coins, and you might accidentally invest in some random coin that has nothing to do with what you wanted to invest in. And then once you've invested in the coin, you can't withdraw it because there's no liquidity. And their support features are even worse than other cryptocurrency exchanges' support features. So that has to be really, really bad. So YoBit is going to get F tier status. Next one on the list is going to be Uniswap. And this is a decentralized exchange. Most of the ones that I talked about on this list are centralized exchanges. Now, here are some of the differences between centralized and decentralized exchanges if you want to just pause the video and check that out. And they're honestly just a totally different beast from each other. And there's so many decentralized exchanges popping up that I decided to just not include most of them on this video. But with that being said, Uniswap works on the Ethereum blockchain. It's also a lot more difficult to use than a centralized exchange. It's definitely not as user-friendly, and if you mess up, there's not going to be anyone there to help you. So I wouldn't recommend a beginner uses Uniswap. However, after you've had some experience, I think it's definitely worth it to get into decentralized finance and use decentralized exchanges. So Uniswap is is going to go into A tier. Now, PancakeSwap is next on the list, and it's very similar to Uniswap. Some would say that PancakeSwap basically just copied Uniswap, but it works on the Binance Smart Chain instead of Ethereum. So again, very similar to Uniswap. I love decentralized exchanges, but I would never recommend them to a beginner. So PancakeSwap goes in A tier as well. All right, so I do have a few gifts for you now. Gift number one is going to be a website that is called CryptoFeeSaver.com. And this is basically a website that is going to help you save fees depending on which cryptocurrency you're using. Because the truth is, with a lot of these different exchanges, the one that's going to be best for you really depends on your personal situation and which cryptocurrency you're buying. So you basically just enter in some basic details in here and it will tell you which exchanges are the best price. Another really good way to do research on different exchanges is to type in Reddit and then the exchange's name. It's not always perfect, but you're probably going to get a lot of good insights from Reddit. There's also a few different websites that you can use in order to review exchanges. Revain.org is one of them. Cointelligence.com is also another one. Just keep in mind, you should really take the subreddits as well as the website with a grain of salt. And the reason for this is because someone could have gotten paid to write the review. The website themselves could have gotten paid. And then if there's a bad review, same thing on the other side. You can actually pay people to write bad reviews as well. And I think after you've gotten some experience, it's pretty easy to recognize fake reviews. Another thing you can do is look at trusted YouTubers' reviews of different websites. Generally speaking, stay away from newer websites or websites that don't have many users. So here is my not financial advice, financial advice. If you want to get crypto super fast and you don't care about actually owning it, use Webull. If you're a beginner and you want to buy Bitcoin and Ethereum for the very first time and you want to actually own it, use Coinbase. And then transfer that cryptocurrency to a different exchange that has more options. If you want to have more control over your cryptocurrency, maybe you want to trade it, or you just want an exchange that has access to other options, I really like KuCoin. And FTX is an alternative to KuCoin, and they kind of emphasize derivatives trading. And if you've got some experience and you're trying to start tackling some DeFi related stuff, use an exchange like Uniswap or PancakeSwap. And as a present to you, I made a list of some of the best exchanges and I compared them in many different categories, such as how beginner friendly they are, the number of coins they have, their trading fees, their trading features, and then some pros and cons about each exchange. And that will be at the bottom of the pinned comment. Now, if you enjoyed this video and you want to know which stockbrokers I like, check out the stockbroker tier list right here, and go ahead, gently tap the like button, hit the subscribe button, ring the notification bell, and comment down below any thoughts, comments, etc. that you have on the video, and I will see you next time.